Hello everybody, welcome to Build or Buy. We got a treat for you today. Today we're going to be looking at a new case. And this new case is a Phanteks Enthoo Pro. What's interesting about this case is for an ATX motherboard, but we got to wondering, looking at size and trying to do some comparison, can this work for an XL-ATX? Now this case right here we're looking at that I've been hovering over, that I've had up on the bench, this is an x399. This is the Corsair 750D Airflow. Super case. It also, by the way, will accept an XL-ATX motherboard. So why not the Phantek's? That's what we want to find out. So this is going to be an unboxing and an examination. We're not going to install it because this is the first of several cases we're going to look at. But I just got to thinking, you know, if this will work, this would be a pretty neat idea. So first thing we need to do is get this box off. I've already taken the liberty of cutting it. While we're at this point, I want to mention you're going to get a lot of static electricity, so make sure all your other components are somewhere else, out of the room, somewhere safe, because we need to let this dissipate. Once we pull this out of the box, get the styrofoam off, then we have this plastic bag we've got to pull off, and that's what I'm getting ready to do now. So I just want to interject that for you. If you've never built a machine, you're going to get some static. So we'll pull the styrofoam off. We'll get this bag off. Now, at the time when we built the X399s, our primary case, the one that we went with, is the one we've already done a video on, and that's this Corsair 750D Airflow case. Wonderful case. Maximum airflow is our key, because it's really not so much about the processor. It's really more about heat dissipation for the video card. But as we look at these two cases and compare them, size-wise, depth, width, length, everything about them, these two cases are comparable. The depth is comparable. The depth front to back is comparable. The depth side to side is comparable. The height, these cases look very, very much the same, very similar. And as we get a view this way from the cases, you can see, I'm going to come around and take a look at that. From the front, we have 3 bays. We have our I/O in the top. And from here, we have 3 bays with our I/O in the top. So these are comparable as far as we can put in here. So if we take the same thing where we put a burner in and possibly some extra USB ports like USB 3, and if we need to have access to media, a single device like that, or if we put the 2-drawer media devices, we do a lot of hot swap. Now, the differences here in these two, this panel on this case is removable. This panel is fixed, it's not removable. In the top, this panel is fixed. In this case, that too is removable. So the 750D Airflow, that's why we went with it for maximum cooling for the X399s. So both cases look comparable, but what I want to do now is turn this down so we can get a look and see what's inside. Because this was the other issue I had with this particular case at the time. Then we'll take a look at the front and see what it'll take to take that off. I'm always concerned about, you know, being able to get into a case and service it. I'm always concerned about airflow, especially with these larger machines. Couple of thumb screws, and they do come out, they don't stay with the panel. Got a box of parts. So now we'll take a look at a shot inside. Okay, on the inside, we've got one fan here in the back, we've got one fan in the front, and I believe this fan here in the back is a 140 millimeter. Yep, that's 140 millimeter, and the fan in front is a 200 millimeter fan. Here we can see the specs for this over on Amazon. Phanteks Enthoo Pro, full tower case, 3 drive bays, and the one up in top to plug in the I/O. On the front's fixed. Now this case comes in 3 different types. One like this case where you've got the solid steel on both sides, one where it's plexiglass like it shows up there on Amazon, and a third one that also has glass. Might be kind of nice. Now when I have this up on a shelf and 2 of these side by side, I couldn't see in this if I wanted to, and it does nothing for performance. I am concerned about cooling, but all 3 of them do not allow for any kind of cooling through that lid. I could cut a hole in that lid, put a screen on it, and put a fan on it. Probably won't, but I'm just saying I could. What we'll do is we'll have airflow from the front to back, and since hot air rises, we'll probably blow it out the top as well. Looking inside, we have the ability, let's get our parts box out of the way. These are our goodies. It looks like we have plenty of room to do everything we're going to want to do inside this case. This was one of the concerns we had originally. I like this. It's structurally strong, but we were also concerned because there's no way to have a compartment here and a compartment here where you could take one of these out. This is all one piece. Now, from front to back, I don't think that's going to be an issue because I've got a mock-up of a board cut to the size for an XL-ATX. Now, to give you some idea of the difference in size, I have to write this down and take a look at it. An ATX is 12 by 13. An XL-ATX is 13.6 by 10.4. So I've cut this to approximate 13 5/8 of an inch by 10.5. Actually, it should be just under 10.5. But this, we'll take a look and see how well it fits. So as we slide that in front to back, I don't see any problem. And for those of you that are worried about your video card, it'll take whatever size video card you've got. This will accommodate an XL-ATX. It looks like. We won't know till we try the board, but right now it looks good to me. And from the height, top to bottom, it'll accommodate the XL-ATX motherboard. And for those concerned about how big of a power supply, I don't see a problem with that. It will accommodate whatever you want to put in it. So with those two items out of the way, my next concern are drives. I need drives accessed out the front, because once this is on a shelf and stuff's stuck next to each other, there's no room to pull anything out the side. So that's why this right here is of tantamount importance to us. I can get a burner in so we can run DVD Architect when I use it. I can get a single drive, or I can do a, let's see, I'll have 2 bays, so I can use a single drive, or I can do like I did on this one where I've got extra I/O for USB, or since I've got plenty of USB up here on this panel, what I could do is the racks like we've been using are hot swap racks, which take 2 bays and give me 3 removable drives. Now, since we're going to put a TRX40 in here, possibility of putting a TRX40, this is the first of several cases we're going to look at as we go through this procedure. There's no motherboard in here, and I'm not going to put a motherboard in here until we decide what case. We can't build a machine until we decide what case. Got to have a case. So that's kind of where we're at right now. But I'm encouraged by this. I like the price of this case. You know, when you think about your top 3 items, the format is not one of them. It's ATX. It's always been ATX. But going out of this larger format, XL-ATX, it brings up the question as we go forward. This is a Threadripper III TRX40. What about when it comes time to build a Threadripper Pro? I would expect the same issue, XL-ATX format motherboard. I'm just saying, something to think about. And it also makes me wonder if we were to use a workstation class motherboard, which would be on the X399 chipset, which would be an Asus motherboard. I'm sure it would probably XL-ATX as well. So we have to embrace this XL-ATX. I hope the vendors will start embracing it. That's one of the things that's tough on PC Part Picker. If I put the components in and said, okay, we're going to go with a specific motherboard, which is a TRX40, it grays out Phantek's. It's not an option. So what we'll do is put the links up to these components as it pertains just to these components for this case specifically. So you can take a look at it from PC Part Picker and then add your other stuff in. But if you start with the motherboard, I wanted to try this because, like I said, it was kind of on a fluke to see what would happen. Let's pull the front off and see what we've got. Now that should pop off fairly easy. That was one of the things I liked about the Corsair 750D Airflow. To pop these panels off, I never had to take this off. I was able to reach from inside the case from over here and push those out. This one, I'm not sure. Let's see. Okay, I want to tilt this up because I can tell by the way this case is fastened, it's got these plastic rivets. 1, 2, and 3. Those are plastic rivets that if they're squeezed too many times, I think eventually they'll break. So we need to be able to work with this gingerly, which also limits our ability to use those inside cages, unless those cages come out on the side, which I'm not real fond of because that would get in the way of the motherboard. That's a problem for me, and that was why we didn't go with this case in the first place. Unless those cages come out the back side. We take this back panel off, we'll take a look. You know, every case is always a little bit different, and you learn something new every time you do this. No matter how many times you build a computer, by the time you get it figured out, everything's changing. Something else I want to mention for the size of the motherboard, as we look in here, the standoffs are already set where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That center standoff is a centering pin for the motherboard, where that motherboard sits right there on top. So when we take this and set this down in here, that centering pin adjusts that this way as well as this way. So when we put that in, we've got room for whatever size video card we've got, and we still got plenty of room down here for a power supply. So I'm curious about how these racks pull out. They need to go out the other side. There's no way they're coming out this way, and I'm not real interested in taking them out through the front. I think going that way is going to be a problem, so I don't want to take this front off. Let me tilt this up and show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to see if we can get a close-up on those standoffs. Okay, we're looking inside the case from the back with the front being down at the bottom. And you can see what I mean by these standoffs. 1, 2, and 3. My concern is those are plastic, and I'm afraid that those will break if we start messing with taking this off and on very much. So my suggestion is going to be don't. because we don't have time for broken components. So what we need to do is to pull these 3 off the front would be to push them from this side. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, I can reach them. What I'll use will be a straight blade screwdriver. And what I need to do, and I'm going to show you, is I've got to reach inside and pull those tabs off. There's 3 of those tabs. You know, it's interesting. We used an endoscope when we were looking at how to get in and undo the lock on the video card. And I'll just cut to the chase and give you a little treat. We're going to be trying another endoscope, but a different endoscope that may be better suited for this kind of work that we'll be using in the future. We're going to keep looking for the right endoscope. I've got several spotted, but we're going to go through them one at a time. So don't be surprised if in an upcoming video you see another endoscope, but it'll be a different kind of endoscope. So what I'm going to do is see if I can pop those panels loose. If I put a screwdriver to that and some pressure in the front, so those will pop out. Yes, okay, out to the front. Now my advice is going to be, when you get ready to start building, take these out if you're going to use them. Take them out now. Once the first one's out, the others will pop out pretty easy. But I wouldn't try to take the faceplate off. And what got me going on that was, there was this really, really neat case that Corsair had. If you remember the one that kind of looked like a military ammo can, and you could have hooks on it and pick it up, we pulled the front off one time. We never could get the front back on it. Totally ruined the case. So ever since then, I've been very, very particular. I've always pulled the fronts off cases. I've been for I don't know how long. But because of the way they're making them, I'm just saying, be careful. So this is another example. I'm not pulling the front of this case off. I don't have time to mess with a busted case. So that takes care of all 3 of those. Okay, done. Used a little micro flashlight to help me see. And those 3 panels are out. Now I don't have to worry about them anymore. I will keep them just in case, but that's something to look for in a case. I've got to have at least 3 open bays. Now some other cases we're going to be looking at is going to give us a whole lot more of that, but I'm still, for the price, I'm very interested in this case. So let's pull this other side and take a look. Let's pull this panel off and see if those drives come out this way. You never know till you look. You don't know till you try. But so far, you figure the top 3 things you're looking at in the case. I always say, you know, change one thing changes everything. Again, this is an ATX case, and I think we're going to be able to put an XL-ATX motherboard in it, which is pretty cool. Why doesn't the manufacturer tell us that? Okay. Oh, I like what I see. We got to get an overhead shot of this. Yep, that's where the drives go, which is most curious. Now this is a nice setup. Let's back away from that just a little bit. Okay, we've got all of our wiring harness here. There's the USB 3. There's the wiring harness for the cables on the front. And this connector is for, that looks like power to something, 12 volt power hub. So that must be what powers this. And this device controls, interesting, motherboard CPU fan. So that maximizes the fans that we have that we'll utilize on the case. So we've already got 2 here plugged in for wiring, but the problem is these are all 3-pin. So to utilize that probably won't, other than just what the case needs. But still, you know, it's there. It's nice. It's good to know. They've done a real neat job of laying this out for us. And it's interesting because the drives come out on the left side instead of on the right side. Kind of leaves me speechless because once this is on a shelf, there's no way I can get to them. Now I like the mechanism and how they've got this set up for the drive bays. These cages come out on the left side from the back side where the wiring harness is at. And it looks like there's a cage here and these individually will come out. There's no real need to pull them out, but we've got screws here. We pull the latch and we've got screws here. Pull those out, pull those out, and pull those out. And then this cage and this cage here pops out. But to take them out, the space is like it's empty. Now, this brings up an interesting point I want to make mention of. Okay, we're going to have a boot drive, which will be an NVMe drive. A lot of stuff we do will be paired with a spinning drive, which will be an internal drive that will not be coming in and out. The drives that come out the front, these will be data drives that come in and out all the time because, again, this is for editing video and for doing some audio work on. So these internal racks are not very meaningful to me, but I will use one of them for an internal drive that stays with the machine because it'll pair with the NVMe. All the instruments and all the software for the most part goes on that NVMe drive, but the internal drive will be anything for I download, or if I decide to do email from the computer, which I need to, then everything with with Thunderbird will also go on that secondary drive. So how you use the software has a lot to do with how you use the case. So I hope that gives you some insight. So as far as the layout, I'm stoked. I think this will be a very serviceable case, and I don't see any problem with what we want to do with it. So that's a quick video about the Phanteks Enthoo Pro, and it comes in 3 versions, like this one with steel on both sides with the plexiglass panel so you can see inside of it, or one with glass. So I hope you enjoyed this. I want to thank you for watching. We got a whole bunch more stuff we're going to do, and everything we're doing right now is about the TRX40, which is the Threadripper III Build that we're getting ready to do. But we got to work through the cases. We can't build until we figure out what case we're going to use. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate if you subscribe, and on to the next video. Have a great day.